Space was silent, cold, endless, watching. Far beyond Earth, where stars looked like distant fires, a small alien ship drifted in the dark. Its lights were weak. Its engines were dying. Inside, Commander Reth of the Veloran species stood still, staring at the main screen. His long fingers trembled slightly. Around him, his crew worked in fear. Shields at 10%, one officer said. Enemy ships closing in, another whispered. Reth closed his eyes for a moment. They were losing. Again, the Velorans were not a weak species. They had advanced technology, strong fleets, and years of experience. But their enemy was something else. The Karthin Empire, a brutal force that crushed every world in its path. No mercy, no peace, only conquest. Commander, we cannot escape, the pilot said softly. Reth looked at the screen. Red dots surrounded them. Enemy ships. Too many, too fast, too powerful. Send a distress signal. Reth ordered. The crew hesitated. To who? The communications officer asked. Reth did not answer immediately. His eyes moved slowly to a small blue mark on the star map. A distant world. A young species. A forbidden name. Send it to Earth. The room went silent. Fear spread faster than fire. Commander, that is against council law, the officer said. Reth's voice was calm. I know. They are not allowed to help in war. I know. They are dangerous. Reth turned and looked at his crew. So is our enemy. The officer swallowed hard, then nodded. Signal sent. Far away, across the stars, the message traveled. Past silent systems. Past watching satellites. Past hidden eyes of the Galaxy Council. It reached Earth. On Earth, the message arrived in a quiet control room. A human operator blinked at the screen. Sir, we have an unknown signal. Another human walked closer. Source. Veloran space. Silence. Then, play it. Commander Reth appeared on the screen. His face was tired. His voice was weak but steady. This is Commander Reth of the Veloran fleet, requesting immediate assistance. Static flickered. We are under attack by the Karthin Empire. Our fleet is destroyed. Our world is next. He paused, as if choosing his next words carefully. We know the law. Silence filled the room. The human officers did not speak. They listened. We know humans are not allowed to build warships. Reth's voice grew quieter. But we also know something else. He looked directly into the camera, into Earth, into humanity. You do not follow rules the way others do. The message crackled. Enemy fire hit his ship. Lights flickered behind him. If there is even a small chance, if there is anything you can do. His voice almost broke. Please. The signal ended. The control room on Earth stayed silent. No one moved. No one spoke. Finally, one officer said, We cannot respond. Another nodded. The council is always watching. If we interfere, it will mean sanctions. Maybe worse. A third officer whispered, But they will die. Silence again. Heavy, uncomfortable. The senior commander of the room, a man named Hayes, stood with his arms crossed. His face showed no emotion. Send this to high command, he said. Minutes passed, then hours. The decision traveled up the chain, from room to room, from officer to officer, from Earth to orbit to hidden stations. Far away, Commander Reth watched the screen. Nothing came. No reply. No signal. Commander, more enemy ships, the pilot said. Reth nodded slowly. He understood. Humans would not come. They could not. Prepare for final defense, he ordered. Back on Earth, deep under the surface, in a place not shown on any map, a different meeting was taking place. No cameras, no records, only a few people. One of them spoke. The Velorans have asked for help. Another replied, We expected this day. A third person leaned forward. If we act, the council will know. Yes, they will accuse us. Yes, they may unite against us. Silence. Then a quiet voice said, They already fear us. The room grew still. A woman stood up. Her eyes were sharp. Her voice was calm. Do we let them die? No one answered. She continued. We followed every rule. We built no warships. We obeyed every law. She paused, then said something strange. But we never stopped preparing. The others looked at her. Understanding slowly appeared. One man asked quietly, Are they ready? She nodded. They have always been ready. Back in space, Commander Reth's ship shook violently. Explosions hit the outer hull. Fire spread inside. Crew members shouted. We cannot hold, someone cried. Reth held the control panel tightly. His breathing was slow, controlled. Then, a sound. Commander, we are receiving something, the communications officer said. Reth turned quickly. What is it? A signal. His heart stopped for a moment. From who? The officer looked confused. From Earth. Silence filled the ship. Hope, fear, disbelief. Play it, Reth said. The screen flickered. A human face appeared. Calm, focused. This is Earth Command. Reth stepped closer. We receive your message. Behind the human, shadows moved. Large shapes, ships, but something about them felt different. We are aware of the situation. The human's voice was steady. No fear, no panic. Reth waited. Then he asked the question everyone feared. Will you help us? The human paused, just for a second, then answered, We cannot send warships. The Veloran crew lowered their heads, hope fading, but the human continued, Because we do not have any. Reth frowned. Confusion returned. Then, the human leaned slightly forward. But we can send something else. The signal ended. In the dark space behind Reth's ship, something moved. At first, it looked like nothing. Just empty space. Then, lights. Small. Hidden. Ships appeared. Dozens. Then hundreds. They looked simple. Like cargo vessels. Like trade ships. But they moved in perfect formation. Silent. Precise. The Karthin fleet slowed. Confused. These are not warships, one enemy officer said. But something felt wrong. Very wrong. Inside the human ship's systems activated. Quietly. Locked. Loaded. Ready. Commander Reth stared at the growing fleet behind him, his voice barely a whisper. Humans came, and for the first time since the battle began, the Karthin Empire hesitated. Far away, hidden deep in space, the Galaxy Council watched. They saw everything. One member spoke in fear. They were not supposed to build warships. Another answered slowly. They didn't. Silence. Then a final whisper echoed across the chamber. They built something worse. Space did not move. It waited. Between the broken Veloran ship and the massive Karthin fleet, the darkness held its breath. Then the human ships arrived. Hundreds of them. Maybe more. They did not rush forward. They did not fire. They simply spread out, forming a wide circle around the battlefield. Silent. Watching. Commander Reth stared at the screen. They look like cargo ships, one officer said. Another shook his head slowly. No, something is wrong. The Karthin fleet reacted next. Their largest warship moved forward. Its surface was covered in weapons. Its engines burned like small suns. A deep signal echoed across space. Unknown human vessels, leave this area. No response. By order of the Karthin Empire, this conflict does not concern you. Still no response. Inside one of the human ships, a young officer looked at his captain. Sir, they are warning us. The captain nodded. I heard. What do we do? The captain looked at the screen, at the Veloran ship, at the enemy fleet. Then he gave a simple answer. Hold position. Back on Reth's ship, confusion grew. Why are they not attacking? Someone asked. They came, but they are doing nothing, another said. Reth stayed silent. He was watching closely, very closely, because something was changing. The human ships were moving, not fast, not aggressive, but precise. They were placing themselves in exact positions around the Karthin fleet, like pieces on a board, like a plan already made. The Karthin commander noticed too. Scan them again, he ordered. We already did, an officer replied. They show no heavy weapons. scanned deeper, the scanners worked harder. Signals passed through the human ships, and what they found made no sense. Commander, these ships are empty. Silence. What do you mean? They have space inside large empty sections, much bigger than cargo storage. The Karthin commander narrowed his eyes. Why would cargo ships need that much space? No one answered. Inside the human fleet, a quiet signal passed from ship to ship. No sound, no light, just data. Fast, clean, perfect. Phase 1 complete. One human officer said, awaiting next command. On Earth, deep underground, the same woman stood in the dark room. She watched the battle through a large screen. They are in position, someone said. She nodded. Good. Another officer looked worried. If we go further, there is no going back. She did not look away from the screen. We passed that point a long time ago. Back in space, the Karthin fleet grew impatient. This is your final warning, their commander said. Leave now or be destroyed. Still, the humans did not answer. Then, one of the Karthin ships fired. A single shot, fast, bright, deadly. It hit one of the human ships. The explosion lit up space. Fire spread across the surface. Metal broke apart. The ship drifted. Damaged. On the Veloran ship, fear returned. They are attacking the humans, someone said. They cannot survive this, another whispered. Commander Reth felt his chest tighten. Why didn't they move? But then, something impossible happened. The damaged human ship did not break apart. It did not explode. It did not fall. Instead, it opened. Sections of the ship separated. Panels moved. Walls shifted. And from inside, something else came out. Weapons. Hidden. Folded. Silent until now. They extended outward like unfolding wings. Energy lines lit up across the surface. Power surged. The cargo ship was gone. In its place, a war machine stood ready. The Karthin fleet froze. What is that? One officer whispered. More human ships began to change. One by one, across the battlefield. Ships opened. Weapons emerged. Engines shifted. Armor plates moved into place. Each simple vessel transformed. Each one became something new, something dangerous. Commander Reth could not speak. His crew stared in shock. They hid everything, someone said. The truth became clear. These were never cargo ships. They were warships, hidden in plain sight. Inside the human fleet, the captain gave a new order. Phase 2. Instantly, every ship locked onto targets. Not randomly, not wildly, but with perfect control. The Karthin commander shouted, all ships, prepare to fire. But it was too late. The humans moved first. A wave of energy burst across space. Clean, precise, deadly. Karthin ships exploded one after another, not from chaos, but from calculation. Every shot had a weak point. Every move had purpose. They are targeting our systems, an officer screamed. Our shields are failing. The Karthin fleet tried to fight back. They fired everything they had, but the humans were faster. Their ships moved like they already knew every attack. They dodged before the shots were fired. They struck before the enemy could react. Commander Reth watched in disbelief. They are reading them, he said. And he was right. Inside the human ships, advanced systems work silently, studying, learning, predicting. The enemy was not just being attacked. They were being understood. Back in the Galaxy Council chamber, panic spread. They broke the law. No, another said quickly. They did not. They have warships. They built modular vessels. The law did not forbid that. Silence. Heavy. Terrifying. They found a way around it. One member whispered. Back in the battle, the Karthin fleet was losing. Fast. Too fast. Retreat, their commander finally ordered. But the humans did not chase wildly. They did not rush. They did not lose control. They closed the space slowly, blocking every escape path, like a net tightening. Commander Reth felt something new. Not fear, not confusion. Respect. They planned all of this, he said. One of his officers asked, "For how long?" Ref looked at the human fleet, at their perfect formation, at their comm control. "For longer than we can imagine." The last Karthin ship tried to jump away. Its engines charged. Space bent around it. Then, a human ship fired a single shot. The jump drive failed. The ship froze. The battle was over. Silence returned to space. But it felt different now. Heavier. The human ships slowly powered down their weapons. Their forms shifted again. Weapons folded back inside. Armor plates closed. Once again, they looked like simple cargo ships, as if nothing had happened. Commander Ref let out a slow breath. They never broke the rule. A human signal came through. "This is Earth Command." Ref stood straight. "The threat has been removed." Ref nodded. "You saved us." There was a short pause. Then the human voice answered. "We responded." Not pride, not emotion, just a simple truth. Ref understood. These were not just warriors. They were something else. Something the galaxy had never truly understood. Before he could speak again, a new signal appeared. Not from Earth, from the Galaxy Council. The message was cold, clear. "Humanity, you will explain your actions." Every human ship stayed silent. Back on Earth, the woman in the dark room watched the message. Then she smiled. Just a little. "They are finally asking questions," she said. Behind her, someone asked quietly, "And what will we tell them?" She looked at the screen, at the human fleet, at the broken enemy, at the saved allies. Then she gave her answer. The truth. Far away, in the silent stars, the human ships began to move again, slowly, together, and for the first time, the entire galaxy was watching them with fear, because now everyone knew humans did not need warships. They only needed a reason. Space was quiet again, too quiet. Commander Ref's fleet, battered but alive, drifted among the stars. The Karthin Empire had retreated, broken and humiliated. Yet, the Veloran commander could feel that this victory was just the beginning. Something larger, more terrifying, was unfolding. The humans, they had appeared out of nowhere, transformed ordinary cargo vessels into war machines, and destroyed the Karthin fleet with shocking precision. But Reth still didn't understand. How could a species forbidden by the Galaxy Council to build warships achieve this? On Earth, the underground control room buzzed quietly. The woman with sharp eyes watched every screen. The human fleet status update streamed in. All ships intact. All systems normal. Not a single life lost. Behind her, a young officer leaned forward, curiosity in his eyes. "Ma'am, how did they do it?" The woman smiled faintly. "They never actually broke the law. That's the beauty of it." The officer frowned. "I don't understand." She turned slowly. "The council said we cannot build warships. They didn't say we couldn't make modular ships. They didn't say we couldn't hide weapons. They didn't say we couldn't train humans to fight in ways no one expected." A pause. "We used the rules against them." Far away, Commander Ref received another human transmission. "This is Earth Command," the calm voice said. "We will guide you home. Follow our coordinates." Ref hesitated. "Coordinates?" "Yes. We have prepared safe routes through space, avoiding Karthin patrols. You will survive if you follow." Something in Ref's chest tightened. Gratitude, fear, awe. He had seen humanity's might for the first time, but he had also seen their patience, their planning, their quiet, unstoppable determination. The Veloran fleet followed the instructions carefully. For days, they moved along hidden paths through asteroid belts and abandoned star systems. The humans stayed close but unseen, guiding, observing, and silently protecting. Then the unusual began. Small disturbances in space. Not attacks, not threats, subtle signals, flickers, distortions of light around certain stars. "Commander, sensors detect anomalies ahead," the Veloran pilot said nervously. Ref leaned forward. "What kind of anomalies?" The pilot hesitated. "They look artificial, almost like traps or tests." Ref's hand tightened around the control panel. "They are testing us." At that moment, a small human ship detached from the main fleet and approached the Veloran flagship. The crew tensed. The ship looked fragile, ordinary, but Reth's instinct screamed danger. Inside the human vessel, a single officer activated a tiny panel. A holographic map appeared. Small green lights moved across the screen like living creatures. The officer spoke quietly, clearly only to themselves. Let's see if they're ready. The human ship approached Reth's vessel and transmitted a message. Commander Reth, we have one final trial. Prepare your fleet. Reth's eyes widened. What trial? The transmission paused. Then a single image appeared. A star system entirely uninhabited. But dotted across it were hundreds of small, hidden devices. Explosive, dangerous, advanced beyond Veloran technology. Defuse them, the human officer's voice said, without losing a single ship, without triggering any alerts. Prove your fleet is ready. The Velorans looked at each other in disbelief. Is this a test of tactics? Reth's voice was low. A test of survival and trust. For hours, the Veloran fleet moved carefully to the trap-filled system. Mines and energy traps waited silently, almost invisible to sensors. Each mistake could destroy an entire ship. The humans did not intervene directly. They only observed, guiding subtly, testing every decision. One Veloran ship triggered a small energy field. It spun out of control, but a quick calculation by another ship stabilized it. The fleet adapted. Reth realized something. The humans didn't just build weapons. They built intelligence, strategy, coordination, and now they were teaching it. Days passed. The Veloran survived the trial. Not a single ship destroyed. Not a single life lost. And then, at the center of the system, the humans revealed the final surprise. A massive ship, unlike any the Velorans had seen. Not like a warship. Not like a cargo vessel. It was a hybrid, sleek, efficient, shimmering with technology that seemed alive. The humans called it the flagship of unity. This ship, a human voice transmitted across the fleet, contains every lesson we have learned, every strategy, every weapon system hidden in plain sight, every human mind trained for war, without ever touching a forbidden law. And now it is ready to fight alongside you. Reth's crew was stunned. It is impossible, a Veloran officer whispered. Reth said nothing. His mind raced. Humans had taken the Council's restrictions and turned them into an advantage. They had created something no one else in the galaxy could even imagine. Then the humans issued a command. Veloran fleet, form up. We are entering Karthin space. One final objective. Destroy the enemy's command post. Disable their leadership. End the threat forever. Reth looked at his fleet. Fear and awe battled inside him. Could they trust humans? Could they survive? The humans moved first. Ships aligned, weapons hidden. Engines surged. In moments, the entire fleet accelerated silently toward the Karthin system. Reth's eyes widened as the scale became clear. Hundreds of ships, perfectly synchronized, moving like a single organism. The Velorans could hardly believe their eyes. Inside Karthin territory, the enemy sensed something was wrong. Unknown human fleet approaching. A Karthin officer shouted. They scanned. They detected cargo ships. Innocuous, harmless. Then the first transformation occurred. Panels shifted. Weapons extended. Energy shields flared. And the Karthin fleet realized too late these were not cargo ships. The battle began. Not chaotic. Not messy. Every shot was precise. Every maneuver predicted. Reth watched in disbelief. The humans coordinated in ways no Veloran technology could match. They were one mind, one system. The Karthin leadership scrambled. Their communication lines broke. Orders contradicted themselves. Panic spread. Meanwhile, the humans had prepared traps within traps. Mines exploded around enemy ships. Energy nets disabled engines. Systems shut down before even understanding the attack. Reth finally spoke, almost in awe. They are teaching us how to fight. Hours passed. The Karthin Empire crumbled. Every surviving ship either surrendered or fled. And when the battle ended, the humans did not celebrate. They simply stood in formation, calm, ready for what came next. Reth transmitted a message to the human flagship. Why help us? Why do all of this? A voice came back. Calm, matter of fact, because you were ready to learn, and because the galaxy needs balance, not obedience, not fear. Humanity follows the rules, but only when the rules are clear. When they are twisted, we find the path forward. Reth paused. I understand, he whispered. But even as he spoke, he knew he did not fully understand. Humans were more than soldiers, more than strategists. They were something else. Back on Earth, the woman in the underground control room observed the battle's end. The Velorans are learning, she said quietly. A young officer beside her frowned. Learning what exactly? She smiled. Survival, strategy, humanity, and that the Galaxy Council cannot stop evolution. For the first time, a deep truth settled across the galaxy. Humans didn't need warships to dominate. They needed only a plan. They needed only patience. And above all, they needed only one thing, the freedom to think. The stars were silent again. But this time, the silence was different. It was cautious, respectful, fearful, because the galaxy had witnessed something it had never seen before. The humans had revealed themselves, not as conquerors, not as invaders, but as a force no one could ignore. And the question echoed across the void. Who would challenge them next? And more importantly, could anyone survive? Space was never silent again. Not after humans revealed themselves. Not after the Velorans saw the hidden fleet. Not after the Karthin Empire learned that they had been outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and outmatched by a species that no one had ever feared. Until now. Commander Reth's fleet drifted among the stars, battered but alive. The Karthin threat had been neutralized, but the consequences were already rippling across the galaxy. The Velorans knew the truth now. Humans were not like any other species. They followed rules, yes, but only to their advantage. They obeyed laws, only to twist them into power. And most terrifying of all, they thought faster than anyone else. On Earth, in the deep underground chamber, the woman with sharp eyes watched the post-battle reports. Every sensor, every fleet status, every enemy movement was logged. Behind her, the young officer who had asked questions before now spoke again. Ma'am, the council, they're going to react. They've seen the fleet. They've seen what we did. The woman nodded slowly. Yes, they will send envoys. They will demand answers. They will attempt sanctions, threats, maybe worse. But we are ready. One of her assistants frowned. Ready how? They control the laws of the galaxy. We can't just defy them openly. She smiled faintly, almost amused. We never defied them. We worked inside the lines. We built war machines without building warships. We fought without breaking rules. And we showed the galaxy that humanity cannot be contained. Far away, the Velorans received the first official communication from the Galaxy Council. A massive, cold voice echoed across space. Veloran fleet and human forces. Explain your actions. Immediate justification required. Reth read the message aloud to his crew. The room fell silent. They know, a young officer whispered. Yes, Reth said slowly. And they are terrified. The humans responded calmly. A single transmission, direct and unflinching. This is Earth Command. All actions taken were within legal parameters. No warships were built. No laws were broken. We acted to prevent the Karthin Empire from destabilizing the galaxy. The Velorans requested assistance. We provided it. That is all. Silence followed. Then, across the council chambers, debates erupted. How can this be legal? One member demanded. They obeyed the law. Another said. They did not build warships. But they used the law as a weapon. And they won. Unacceptable, another shouted. They are dangerous. Too clever. Too powerful. They cannot be allowed to expand further. Meanwhile, the Velorans prepared to depart. Reth addressed his fleet. Humans have shown us a path we never imagined, he said. They have taught us strategy, patience, and power hidden in plain sight. We owe them our survival, and perhaps our respect. The human fleet began to move away slowly, calm, methodical, silent but unmistakably dominant. A Veloran officer turned to Reth. "Sir, what do we do now?" Reth's eyes were distant. "Now we watch, and we learn." But the humans were not finished. Across the galaxy, ships started receiving encrypted signals from Earth. Simple, short transmissions, but each one carried instructions, suggestions, or guidance. Not orders, not commands. Lessons. Every race that had witnessed the fleet's power now received subtle lessons from humans. How to strengthen shields without building weapons, how to coordinate fleets silently, how to predict enemy movements, how to survive impossible odds. Every system, every planet, every fleet. The humans were teaching without teaching, showing without showing, preparing without revealing. The galaxy was changing. Commander Reth watched one transmission carefully. It contained coordinates of a distant system under Karthin influence. A small Veloran force was instructed to liberate it. No humans would fight directly. Yet, the strategy guaranteed victory. Reth turned to his officers. "This is unprecedented. Humans can win battles without firing a single shot." Far above, in orbit around Earth, massive hidden stations monitored the galaxy. Silent observers, ready to act if the Council tried to punish or interfere. One of the young officers asked, trembling, "Ma'am, do we become targets now?" The woman looked at him calmly. "No, not targets. Guardians. Teachers. Humans are not reckless conquerors. But those who oppose reason, they will learn quickly." Back in Veloran space, the Karthin Empire tried to regroup. They sent scouts, attempted attacks, tried to exploit weaknesses. Each attempt failed. The human network had already anticipated every move, every trap, every strike. The Karthin fleets began to disappear from star maps, not destroyed, not captured, neutralized, disarmed. Reth realized the ultimate truth. Humans did not fight to dominate. They fought to prevent chaos. They fought to teach the galaxy survival. And in the process, they became the most feared and respected species in existence on Earth. The woman stood before a massive screen, displaying the galaxy, every system, every fleet, every battle. A younger officer approached. "Ma'am, will the Council come after us?" She smiled faintly. "They already fear us. That is enough." A sudden alert flashed across the room. A new signal. Unknown origin. Fast. Direct. The woman read it silently. Then she turned to her officers. "It is time," she said. "The galaxy has learned its lesson. Now humanity decides what comes next." Far in space, the Veloran fleet received one final transmission. "This is Earth Command. Remember this. Strength lies not in weapons, not in armies, not in fear. Strength lies in preparation, patience, and unity. Use what you have learned wisely." The galaxy watches. Reth stood in silence. The humans, they are beyond anything we imagined, and we are lucky to be alive. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Humans cannot be contained. Humans bend the rules and win. Humans are patient, smart, unstoppable. Even the Council felt the tremor. The species they thought were insignificant, the species they sought to restrict, had become untouchable. The laws could no longer define them. The galaxy could no longer control them. Humans had created a new order, a balance of fear and respect. In the hidden chambers on Earth, the woman leaned back. She looked at the stars and spoke softly. "The cost of ignorance is survival. The cost of fear is respect. The cost of underestimating humans is extinction." And far across space, in systems that had never known hope, fleets and planets now whispered the same truth. Humans were no longer just humans. They were a force of nature, silent, invisible, unstoppable, and the galaxy would never forget it. The stars shimmered, ships moved silently, and humans prepared for the unknown. For the first time, no one questioned their rules. No one questioned their power. No one questioned their inevitability. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity had not even fired the first shot.